one thing you need to remember. Second test, the most feared or a test which is commonly misunderstood is your PPDT. So, in very simple words, picture perception and description test is a test in which you will be shown a blurred, unclear, or hazy image for 30 seconds. You are made to observe that picture very carefully, and after those 30 seconds, the picture disappears, and you need to note down the characters you saw in that picture, saw or perceived. Like some people may see 10 characters, some people may see 5 characters in the same picture. It is purposefully given in a way that you are unable to figure out exactly ki kya hua tha, but it is your imagination that comes in handy there. So you note down the characters there, and you try to make a judgment on what the mood of the character was and approximately what age the character falls in, and you make a note of these attributes, and you take one action. Let's say in that picture you see a person running, so you may choose a theme as the candidate trying to win a college level running race or anything on those sorts. But the main thing for you to remember is you will be observing the picture for 30 seconds, writing a story on it later for 4 minutes, and before that you will be noting down the characters you saw, their age, their gender, and their mood, and you will be circling the main character. You will choose one character as the hero or the main character of your story, and you will be circling that in the box given. I'll share a sample PPDT answer sheet. You'll understand more when you look at that. But for those who are completely unaware of what PPDT is, it's a simple test where 30 seconds का एक picture project होती है on the projector. You will see, you will observe the characters, you will think of a theme, a suitable story for that picture, and you will write a one-line action or theme of the story. And for the next 4 minutes, you will be writing a story in which you will be covering past, present, and the future. What was the context? Who is that character? What was happening? And currently, what is happening in that picture? And what is the likely outcome after some actions are taken, after some incidents or happenings occur? End में क्या होगा? What will be the end result? So that is how a story flow usually is seen. And yeah, that is the test. Projection of the picture, you observing and you writing a story for a time of 4 minutes. So why is this test conducted, or what does it test is your ability to analyze. That is, you are perceiving something and you are trying to break it down into what age, what sex, what mood, etc. the character is, and this is not given on paper, right? So you are trying to make a judgment ki हाँ approximately itna ho sakta hai, and it looks somewhat like this person is moody, so he is in a negative mood, or it is a celebratory kind of picture, so the characters are in a positive mood. So you are taking some kind of judgment, which in some sense reveals your common sense and your observation skills. So that is the first quality that is observed. And then the second quality is for you to synthesize all this data, make sense out of it, and use your imagination, use your ingenuity to come up with a suitable story. So picture में कुछ और ही दिखाया and तुमने कुछ और ही story लिखा है, then obviously you are not analyzing and synthesizing what is given well. So that will be a cause for you getting screened out. Or if you have come with some preconceived, pre-prepared story and you just try to fit it in any picture, then that is also obviously not desirable. So yeah, this is first. Sorry, I was getting a call. All right, let's continue. Just give me 1 minute, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, I was telling picture projection, observation, and story writing within the first 4 to 5 minutes. 4 minutes of story writing, 30 seconds of observation, and 1 minute of you writing the age, sex, mood, etc. And I told you the main logic behind having this test: analysis and synthesis is being checked. The second stage, let me go a little deeper into how you can give a good PPDT story. Writing the character details, that is, these are all basics. You can go through this. This is all available online, and I'm expecting most of you to already know these things. So let me not go into the depth. You will write the age, sex, and mood of the character using these conventions. That is, using Arabic numbers, using the letter M, F, or P. P is if you are unable to figure out, or if it's a gender neutral image, and mood is positive or negative with a plus or minus sign, and zero if it is a neutral mood. So that is how you write the characters, and the main character needs to be circled. And as imagine the picture to be a rectangle, and a same kind of rectangle is given in your answer sheet as well. So corresponding to where the image is positioned in the projected image, you will try to fit it in towards that direction or towards that area of your answer sheet ka box also. So that is where you will position those characters, write their age, sex, and mood, and then circle your main character. That is all. And to write a good story, what are things that you need to keep in mind? The main character is one. It is not 100% necessary, और ऐसे कोई rule नहीं है कि you will have to choose a character who is exactly like you, the same age, same gender, etc. But it helps if you take a main character who resembles you as much as possible in terms of age and gender, at least, because when you do that, you are innately giving your own qualities through the story. So you are trying to relate the main character to your own personality, and while you are doing this, you are bringing out your own qualities. At least in TAT, this helps a lot. But try to inculcate this habit of story writing from PPDT itself. So a good practice is for you to choose a main character who is similar to you in terms of age and gender. Let's say you are a male around 22 years of age giving your CDS attempt SSB. You can just write a person 22 years in his final year of engineering, etc., etc. But try to make the main character as close to you as possible in terms of age and gender. And the second most important thing is the task. Any story, if it has to be logical, if it has to have a past, a present, and a future, there has to be some connectivity in what is happening. So there has to be some goal or some task which is being carried out for you to write a meaningful story. So try to take a specific aim or task instead of writing a vague, imaginary, or very fictional kind of story. Try to choose a specific task, a simple logical one, not that you will try and change the constitution, or you will build an NGO or something unrealistic or not very easy to implement kind of missions. Choose mat karna. Choose a very simple aim or task which is achievable. Take your own life and try to see what kind of tasks you can do, and choose that kind of a very simple mission. And the most important part is the execution. Main character anyone can take, mission anyone can imagine and write, but how you execute that mission by employing the qualities and the resources available to the main character is where the core of the story lies. Your aim has to be achieved through the resources available to you, through teamwork, through leadership, through strategy, etc. Like everything that goes into achieving a mission has to come out in your execution part. So that will be most of your story. 80% of your story will be the execution only. So here is where all your good qualities come out. Let's say you are saying a person is preparing for an exam. Then what all can a person do to prepare for an exam? You can't just write he studied for 8 hours a day and somehow crack the exam after a lot of efforts. So these adjectives people use through hard work, through determination, etc. Adjectives should not be coming out. Actions should show those qualities in indirectly. How do I put this? Let's say, taking the same example, preparation for an exam. Instead of saying the person worked hard, he burnt midnight oil, he did a lot of stuff, he sacrificed his personal life for the exam, etc. You can just break it down into very simple steps that he followed. He prepared a timetable for himself. He made sure every day he used to study for at least 4 hours after his dinner. And then even during those 4 hours, he categorized the studies into 3 or 4 different parts, and he had time limits for each subject. He also gave mock tests every week. So all these things, when you say, it shows how well you strategize, how well you plan, how well you break down a big task into smaller components and go about achieving it. So I've just given a small example. Similar, breaking down of the mission into small steps and doing everything that you can do in order to achieve that can be done for any other theme as well. So the execution part, you need to remember, is the most important part. So that is where your difference in the quality of story comes. So some things you need to avoid is you can't just say somehow the task was done. It cannot be, as I told, hero and mission everyone will do well, but execution is the main thing. So you can't just say somehow it was achieved or with hard work it was achieved. So hard work कैसे किया वो दिखाना पड़ेगा. Like how many hours did he put in? What all did he do exactly during those hours? That obviously shows hard work, right? You need not mention the word hard work. Whatever he is doing is hard work. It is evident. So instead of writing adjectives, writing qualities, try to show those qualities through actions. That is how you write a good story. And yeah, how it was done or the execution part is the most important part of your PPDT story. And then comes the narration part, which is after the 4 minutes of story writing, you are divided into subgroups. Usually 10 to 15 people are in each group. And then you are made to sit in a semicircle, and the three assessors come to observe you. An interviewing officer, a GTO, and a psychologist usually come for your PPDT narration. And one by one, you are told to narrate your story. You are usually given 1 minute, but if the story is very evident and your basic qualities are seen, like हाँ बंदा confident है, English अच्छा बोल रहा है, and his story is also very straightforward, then they may tell you to just skip, and the next person can be called, and it may be for 30-40 seconds also. Although they say 1 minute, it may be a little lesser than that also. And it is easy to figure out basic qualities in less than 30-40 seconds as well. So they don't want to waste further time. So it may happen like that also, especially in entries where a lot of candidates report, like NCC Special or TGC, where more than 300-350 people report sometimes. This may happen. So the setup is like that. You will be standing up, you will be narrating it to your group. You need not face the assessors. The remaining 12 or 14 people who are sitting in your group, you will face them and you will narrate your story, what you have written, your perception, and what went on in your story, how the mission was chosen, and what went into achieving it. So you narrate your individual story, and after everyone is done with their narration, automatically your group discussion starts. The goal is for you to discuss together and come to some common story towards the end of the discussion. And usually it happens like because it's a very hazy picture, because there is no solid thing to say कि यही था picture में, there is always some kind of fish market situation that occurs, because different people had different ideas and everyone feels their idea is suitable because that was their perception. It was designed in a way कि you need to come together and you need to discuss and come to a consensus. Therefore, there is some tension when the group discussion starts. But the main attributes of this activity is there is no leader in this. All 15 people or all 10 or 12 people, how many ever are in the group, are equal. And you are there to regulate your discussion yourselves. There is no moderator. The GTO or the psychologist or the interviewing officer will not interfere. They will not tell you to talk one by one. They will not tell you to maintain your etiquettes, etc. You are supposed to take care of all those things on your own. So this is where natural leaders, people who can take control of a group, people who can perform in chaotic situations and still come out successful, naturally emerge. So that is what even they are looking for. And yeah, what is being observed is your ability to put logical points and try to convince the group and defend your own logic by not being emotional or not trying to bully others and get your point through, but through logic, whether you are able to explain and win the group's consensus, and your basic communication skills, how you can present your ideas, how you can talk to people and convince them. And obviously social dynamics is whether you are too dominant, whether you are too submissive, whether you are listening to others, etc. These basic qualities are easily figured out during your PPDT. And overall, when they combine your OIR and PPDT scores, there is a judgment on whether you should be screened in or not. And yeah, the common story which comes towards the end of your PPDT after your discussion, the reality is there is no such रिक्वायरमेंट की एक कॉमन स्टोरी आनी ही चाहिए, बिकॉज 15 different people, 15 psychologically unique people cannot genuinely agree on one common story. It is impossible. So obviously the real goal is for you to discuss and try to come towards some common consensus, and throughout this activity it is seen that there are few people who stand out and few people who do not perform well. So that is the real goal. The goal is not to arrive at a common story, but the goal is to try to go towards that by being good, by being cordial with your group mates, and obviously throughout the process showing your own good qualities also. So yeah, my